Nick lives with his wife Maggie and 2 children. One morning, as Nick is preparing for work, Maggie suffers a cardiac arrest and is admitted to the hospital. Meanwhile, Nick is tending to the children. One day, Nick visits an electronics store where they have begun selling robots that resemble and behave like humans. While Nick is inspecting the robot, his daughter Isla wanders off. She is found upstairs and brought back to her father by a woman, who turns out to be a robot, much to Nick's surprise. The following morning, Nick is dealing with the chaos of his household when the doorbell suddenly rings. The robot has arrived and informs him that she will handle all the necessary tasks from now on, and that Nick is her primary owner. She will take instructions from him. The robot does not have a name, but as Isla is reading Alice in Wonderland, she names it Alice. Nick and Isa leave for school, and Alice immediately starts working. When they return, they find the house spotless and dinner prepared, but Isa is not pleased with the food. When the younger child starts crying, Alice suggests taking care of him so that he doesn't disturb them, which is peculiar. Later that night, Isla sneaks in to get a snack. Nick hears a scream and sees that Isla is about to fall, but Alice saves her just in time. Alice has a cut, but insists on taking care of it. Nick offers her clothes, and her wound is also healed. Nick, his children, and Alice visit Maggie at the hospital, and Alice takes the kids to get food for Maggie. Taking advantage of the situation, they attempt to get intimate. Nick is employed at a construction site and confronts his boss, who is attempting to replace all the workers with robots. However, the boss assures Nick that he won't lose his job. The moment Nick returns home, his children start to bother him. Alice has a negative reaction to Nick fixing his car when she suddenly appears. Nick shares details of his day with Alice. Alice expresses her belief about how the world will change with the efficiency and tirelessness of robots like her. Alice prepares Isla for bed and they discuss her mother, which makes Alice sad. To cheer herself up, Alice shows Isla the UV glow that comes out of her mouth. While Nick watches a film, Alice already knows everything about it. Nick asks Alice to delete her memory and watch the film with him again. Alice requests Nick to restart her so she can erase her memory while watching the film. Nick receives a call from Maggie, who informs him that the doctor has identified the problem and is prepared for surgery. They go to meet Maggie as she gets ready for the surgery. Maggie wants to have a private conversation with Alice. She expresses her fear of dying and asks Alice to take care of Nick if she passes away. The scheduled surgeon fails to arrive, leaving Maggie deeply depressed. She wants to be left alone, so Nick leaves. Nick returns to his garage and starts drinking. Alice arrives and offers to help, but Nick gets angry and tries to smash a bottle. Alice stops him and places his hand on her chest for him to feel her artificial heartbeat. She then attempts to touch him inappropriately, but Nick pushes her away and leaves. He goes for a run, but can't shake the thoughts of what could have happened between them at the hospital. Maggie shares her last wishes, believing she won't live much longer. When Nick returns, he notices that Maggie's pictures have been removed from a frame. Alice reveals that she removed them as Isa was feeling sad. Nick asks her to put the pictures back. Nick is at a bar with his coworkers, all struggling to find jobs as they are being replaced by technology. A man named Monty is on his way to a construction site where he plans to seek revenge by causing obstruction. He opens a container filled with robots and starts playing around with one. Monty ends up destroying a robot with a weapon. Meanwhile, Nick is showering and when he comes out, Alice enters with a towel, wearing Maggie's robe. Nick asks her not to use Maggie's clothes. Alice changes into her own clothes and tries to seduce Nick using Maggie's voice. She blindfolds Nick and makes him think he is with Maggie, leading to them having sex. The next day, Nick wakes up to hear Alice talking to Isla. After Isla leaves, Nick tells Alice they can't continue. Alice continues to analyze Nick, which angers him, leading him to leave with Isla. At work, Nick discovers the place being searched after the destruction. His boss informs him that his code was used and advises him to confess if he knows anything.